everyone. Here's our live session for week 3 of Unit 2. It's our last week of our second unit focused on healthy intake, basically. And then we move on to body mechanics, movement, exercise, and how we can incorporate that daily, our cardiovascular well-being. So for today, what we're going to talk about is overall nutrition and how we really look at that in the aspect of relationships to food. What happens a lot of times is people can develop, especially with the societal trends, to post pictures and depict what normal people look like. In reality, this is so far off base. A lot of the waifs that we see on the stage, walking up and down the runways, this is not normal. And so sometimes it affects how we look at food and changes our relationship. So we don't look at food just in light of nutrition. We sometimes try to start to look at it as far as emotional kind of attachment and really start to have an unhealthy relationship on food. So this week we kind of looked at that in the lens of eating disorders. And unfortunately in America, and I think that it has a lot to do with what we're exposed to and the images we see on a daily basis from computers, from TVs, from magazines, and it's so prevalent that eating disorders in America, they're saying about 1 to 2 out of every 100 students will at one time struggle with one. So when we're talking about them, we're talking more about not just those going on a diet to lose weight or trying, and people exercising excessively. These are the extremes. The 1 or 2 out of 100 are the extremes in eating behavior. Diets that never end and gradually become more restrictive, and it starts taking over their lives. So the most common type of eating disorder, and I know we've all heard of this, is anorexia nervosa. And the other one, secondly, is bulimia. Now, anorexia, this is where this person actually has a distorted body image. What they see in the mirror, the reflection they see, is not the true picture of what they actually look like. And they are obsessive about their food intake. The video we watched this week will depict 2 girls that have gotten to such extreme measures that they were sent away to be hospitalized for their eating disorders. So as you watch the show, you really see how their obsession with how much they put in, and it really is a struggle. I thought of putting food in their body, it's just very, very hard for them. They have gone so far to that extreme of hating the idea that perhaps that they can gain that weight. So that's anorexia. The other one, second most prevalent that we see, especially in the United States, is bulimia. And it's similar to an anorexia in that a person is very, very concerned about what they look like and what they, what they eat. But what the person with bulimia, what they do is it's called purging, and they usually do it for them to be diagnosed. It's about twice a week for a couple months. What they do is they eat a large amount of food, and often it's junk food, and usually it's done in secret. And then they go ahead and they purge by either vomiting or using laxatives or excessive exercise. So usually people with anorexia tend to be super, super slim. People with bulimia, it's kind of hard to tell. They might be a little bit underweight, but a lot of times they're normal weight or even a little bit overweight. And once again, it's tied to that emotional connection to food and the guilt for overeating. So they no longer are looking at food for, the anorexic and bulimic, anybody with an eating disorder really, they're not looking at food, I need to consume this for its nutritional value. They are looking at food with an emotional connection. And so they remove the component of, gosh, I want to eat that because it's good for my body. Instead, they're doing it for other reasons. So that's where these disorders stem from. Another one that you might have heard about is the binge eating. And this can go with bulimia, or it could be just people that it's an emotional eating thing. It's called compulsive overeating. And a lot of times it's when they're dealing with emotions that they can't find Remember, coping mechanisms, healthy coping mechanisms to deal with like sadness or anger. Sometimes they'll turn to eating food to deal with their emotions. So instead of using a healthy coping mechanism like going for a run or journaling or something like that, they might use overeating, binging to the point that they feel really disgusting and really, mad at themselves, and they feel like they're over full and, disgusting in the fact that they can't even lay down with feeling comfortable. They just feel, oh, they've eaten so much, it's really, really uncomfortable. And it's really hard on their GI system, their gastrointestinal system. So as you can see that with all of these eating disorders, what happens is people stop looking at food for, okay, I need to eat this food to make sure that I'm nutritionally sound and I have food in my system to give me energy to get throughout the day. They start looking at food in a very emotional-ish type of manner, and it starts to reflect on who they are. Whether they're eating too much, too little, or overeating, they really start looking at food as not nutrition, but as food as an emotional kind of component of their lives. So all of these diets that they, you can engage in can be scary, and people can take them too far. So, and you hear of diets all the time. Oh, I'm on the grapefruit diet. I'm on this diet. I'm on that diet. All diets, if they don't present well-rounded and ensuring that you get all different components that you need for all the different nutrients, or even if they have too little fat, if you're not getting enough protein, all of these diets can be dangerous. So you have to be very careful. The best diet, of course, is a well-rounded diet, low in fat, big on fruits and vegetables, lean proteins if you can, but colorful. Remember that whole colorful aspect. Stick away from the, I call them fake foods, but the sugary foods, all the foods that are processed, try to stick away from those. Those are healthy ways to eat. If you can eat as much as you can natural foods, home-cooked foods with natural ingredients, things you can pronounce with lots of colors, you're doing really, really well. And colors, remember, it's got to be colors from nature, not artificial colors. If you can go back to drinking just water and things like milk, healthy things, instead of the high sugary beverages, you're definitely going to be doing a lot better. So my MHTA for today, Mrs. Haar's takeaway is, please keep in mind that food should be looked at strictly for its nutritional value. Do not look to food to be comforting. It's not healthy for anyone to turn to food if they're upset, if they're, for whatever reason, they should really disconnect from food. Think of food, your food is there to ensure that you can do the things you need to do on a daily basis and take care of your body. That's it. Please look at other coping mechanisms when you feel like you're upset and you want to turn to things like food or any other unhealthy coping mechanisms. Think about that walk. Think about staying hydrated. Think about trying to eat healthy. Focus on that, and that will keep you the healthiest you possible. So once again, your MHTA, the summary that I want you to say is stay away from diets. Stay away from dieting schemes. Just try to eat healthy, colorful, natural, good for you, nutritious foods. Stay away from diets. All right, hopefully that makes sense to you. We're moving on this week from what we consume to how we move and the different exercise forms out there, and ways that you can just incorporate a little bit more exercise, small, tiny, Mrs. Haar, she's all about tiny, tiny little changes that maybe slowly will increase your metabolic resting rate over time. So you are done this week if you've done the 2 quizzes. The eating disorder letter, where you watch about our 2 girls that are severely anorexic, and then you write them a letter, your MHTA that you got from here. And once again, your MHTA is that diets are not good. Do not diet unless it's a healthy diet full of healthy grains, fruits, vegetables, homemade, good for you food, well-rounded diet. Then you have your Unit 2 Session 3 test worth 30 points, and then your Unit 2 comprehensive exam worth 50 points. That's over the entire Unit 2. So let me know if you have any questions, and then we're going to move into talking about yoga and different exercise options out there and ways to make sure that you are cardiovascularly fit. All right, thanks everyone. Let me know if you have any questions.